What's happening? Crispy Akiyama. And I don't know why people are beefing on the internet between these two plugins, saying is this one the way or the Soothe Killer? Is this one the Soothe Killer? Uh, they all really do different things to me. And of course, I'm talking about the Waves Curves Equator, and then the TBTECH Speccraft. These are very much different plugins to me, all three of them. And so I'm just going to get right into it before my computer overheats and blows up from having two plugins on. Um, I can't tell you everything that these plugins do, guys. Typically, I do read the manual, but sometimes when I'm just in a project, when I'm working in a project, and I do, one of the rare times like I will introduce a new plugin while I'm mid project, I really don't read the manual. I'll just drop it in, see if I like it. If I do, it stays, especially if it sounds good the next day after I did the mix before I send it out to the client. So, whoa, what was that about? Okay, so first things first, how I view these two plugins. Um, you probably have different views, and I'm happy for you. How I like to use the Waves Curves Equator is very much like overall tonal shaping from a corrective standpoint, not a creative standpoint. All right. So this is when I think of this, I think very broad. Plus the holes, I use this to sidechain my vocals to my music bus as opposed to what is that, track spacer. I like the way that this sounds more. So this is all I'm doing when I'm using this plugin. Guys, like I said, I don't know everything about it yet. I haven't read the manual on it. But I just hit this learn function and I let it do its thug thizzle. I keep it pushing like it sounds good. So what I'm going to do right now, I'm going to play this song. This is the homie NotHighEnuff's song called Any Second. Fun fact, I've known this guy since the 5th grade. We used to skate together every single day, play Grand Theft Auto San Andreas way before we were supposed to be playing games like that. And he is the reason why the name Crispy stuck with me, because of the homie. I know him as Deca, but not high enough Deca. He's the reason why. So quick fun fact. So anyway, I mixed this like 3 months ago, and I also, let me say this too. I wanted to specifically use this song because I know one of the most common things on YouTube is like, of course the plugin sounds good, the vocals already sound good. And guys, let's keep it a buck. As a recording engineer, that's what you want to do. You want to be able to record as best as possible. In full transparency, like I'm running through hella hardware before I even hit my DAW. I'm running through a Telefunken TF51, not the $10,000 mic, but their Alchemy series. I'm going to an API 512V preamp, West Audio Mimas, which is the 1176 clone, and SSL 611 EQ. This is the 500 series stuff. SSL EQ into a NE 542 tape emulator with using the Silk. So when people hear the music on my page and stuff that I work on, a lot of the times, if not all the time, the vocals already sound pretty damn decent. Now, I wanted to use his vocals specifically, NotHighEnuff's vocals, because that was not the case. I did not record this because now we're getting into a mixing engineer. We always don't have control of what we receive. And I understand that. All right. And so I want to show people an example of, hey, how would I treat vocals if I didn't receive or if I didn't record them? I would treat them the same way, guys. I might just add a few things here or there, but my template is relatively the same, you know? So one of the main things that I'm going to be accomplishing with these two plugins is removing harshness, creating a balance tonally, and yeah, just making this just a more balanced vocals while retaining some of that excitement. Okay, so first things first, let's go through and just hit the learn function while you guys are listening to it for the first time.
I leave this realm when I write shit. Before that, I'm a skeleton that's lifeless. This life's but a dream. Late nights, I never sleep. I be trying to count this money, bitch, we in too deep. I could never fall back, nah, that ain't me. I be steady on the grind, trying to make that green. Till my team's on top, that's all I see. I be trying to get the bread, my fetty, my cheese. I'ma kill 'em off dead, bitch, R.I.P. Never light when I step, I break.
Okay, cool. Now, guys, yes, it does already sound better than when he sent it to me because I am doing some processing prior to these, but I am not using Soothe. That's one thing to be said. So I'm not using Soothe where I typically would. So this is what it gave us, right? And then so all I do is I drop the threshold. I just been dropping it to 0. You could play around with that. This is not a hard number. This is just usually what I'll do. I want to see what it sounds like when it's maybe doing too much and then dial back.
I leave this realm when I write shit. Before that, I'm a skeleton that's lifeless. This life's but a dream. Late nights, I never sleep. I be trying to count this money, bitch, we in too deep. I could never fall back, nah, that ain't me. I be steady on the grind, trying to make that green. Till my team's on top, that's all I see. I be trying to get the bread, my fetty, my cheese. I'ma kill 'em off dead, bitch, R.I.P. Never light when I step, I break concrete. I done been.
See, I like doing that because it gives me a more balanced vocal to work with. Now, granted, I'm already doing some balancing leading up to this. I think one thing that's important to understand with any plugin is there's no one plugin that is the answer to everything. Don't let anybody ever market to you like that and believe them. You know, that's like saying you can achieve your whole mix with one plugin. Like, all right, bro. You know, now there are plugins that change the game for me, for sure. But there's not one plugin that will do everything. Like, there's not one plugin that will just mix your song for you. Let me say that to be more specific. This doesn't give you radio ready vocals just by slapping it on. All right. But what it does is it helps prep your vocals. So when you go through and do added EQ and added compression and added things, it helps put you in a position of a more balanced starting point to take it there to that level. All right. Advanced controls, you can go through and do all this where it gives you 4 different bands. You can move the bands if you want to. Like I said, guys, I don't even really play with this stuff. Sometimes I might turn the limiter and the auto makeup off because it can be deceiving sometimes. But, you know, I got to give a shout out to Waves. They've been pretty good about putting their like when you put their plugins on, it doesn't boost like 3 dB. So yeah, this is how I use this. Let's move on to the next thing. All right, so that's overall tone shaping in a corrective fashion. Now we go through and use Speccraft, and Speccraft, it works like Soothe, but it feels like I can be more precise with Speccraft without softening the sound as much as I would with Soothe. And I will say part of that is me just being ignorant to fully knowing how to use Soothe. I can admit my guilt in that. I have not taken the time to really learn everything Soothe does. I found a couple presets, I learned a few things, and I just been sticking with it. I'm super hot and cold with that. Half of the time I will read all the reviews on Gearspace. I'll read the manual front to back. I'll watch all the videos and learn everything I can about the plugin. Other times, I don't even know anything about the plugin. I just kind of go in and figure it out. So that's the case for these 2 plugins, all right? So basically with this, how I use this, I can't tell you what any of this does. I can assume what attack and release does. But I go through and the more, so let me take a step back. This right here works as a global threshold. Let's play that.
I leave this realm when I write shit. Before that, I'm a skeleton.
That's a delta. All right, cool. We got that figured out. So now what I go through and do is I will go through, and as you boost this up, this is like adjusting the threshold up. As you push up, it's reducing the threshold for this specific area. So as you push it up, it's saying process more right here, do more processing wherever I'm boosting. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to target areas that are harsh and remove some of that, remove some mud, remove some boxiness, and help bring the vocals even closer to a place of balance. Because like I said, that is the thing that separated my mixes when it comes to vocals almost more than anything else, is understanding how to listen and what to listen for when it comes to harshness, boxiness, and obviously like rumble and sibilance, and understanding how to treat those things. And so I'm going to show you guys what I'm looking for when I do these things, and then bring it in and out.
Nights I never sleep, I be trying to count this money, bitch, we in too deep. I could never fall back, nah, that ain't me. I be steady on the grind, trying to make that green. My team's on top, that's all I see. I be trying to get the bread, my Betty, my cheese. I'm a killer off that bitch, R.I.P. Never fight when I step, I break concrete. But I've been through a lot, this heart ain't weak. Since the man in all black spotlight on me. Trying to get it with the quickness, like I never slipping. I've been trying to make some change, now I'm up to make the difference. With you any second, spread my wings and I'ma fly. I leave this realm when I write shit. Before that, I'm a me. I be steady on the grind, trying to make that green. Till my team's on top. R.I.P. Never light when I step, I break concrete. I done been through a lot, this heart ain't weak. Since the man in all black spotlight on me. Trying to get it with the quickness, like I never slipping. I've been trying to make some change, now I'm up to make a difference. This money, bitch, we in too deep. I could never fall.
All right, so whatever. Cool. So this is a really good starting point, and I like this because typically what I'll do with Kirchhoff EQ, which is by far my favorite static EQ to use, typically I'll go through and do something like this, but with Kirchhoff. But before that, I'll do dynamic EQ with this. I like that this is kind of the answer to that. Will this replace me doing it in Pro Q3? Quite possibly. I have to see if it's going to be as CPU friendly. But outside of that, I really like how this works. I'm going to bring it in and out now. Let's start with the waves one. Bring the waves in and out again.
I leave this realm when I write shit. Before that, I'm a skeleton that's lifeless. This life's but a dream. Late nights, I never sleep. I be trying to count this money, bitch, we in too deep.
And one thing you're going to notice too is when you're going through and you are removing harshness, you have to keep in mind harshness resides in that mid-range, high mid-range, which is where our human ears are the most sensitive to. So when you go through and remove harshness right there, it's going to make things sound warm, and but also it's going to make things sound less forward, but as you're doing that, it also helps it relax into the stereo image. So don't just listen to, it might sound like it's getting darker. It's not necessarily just darker though, but it's removing some of those harsh frequencies that are the easiest to be detected. So listen to how much warmer it's starting to sound, but also how it's starting to relax back into the stereo field. All right.
I leave this realm when I write shit. Before that, I'm a skeleton that's lifeless. This life's but a dream. Late nights, I never sleep. I be trying to count this money, bitch, we in too deep. I could never fall back, nah, that ain't me. I be steady on the grind, trying to make that green. Till my team's on top, that's all.
Cool. So there's that. My bad, my stuff is acting up, but all right, let's go ahead and bring this one in and out now.
I leave this realm when I write shit. Before that, I'm a skeleton that's lifeless. This life's but a dream. Late nights, I never sleep. I be trying to count this money, bitch, we in too deep. I could never fall back, nah, that ain't me. I be steady on the grind, trying to.
Okay, now you see it's starting to push even further back and relax into the arrangement to where now it's like the vocals are starting to, or that rim shot is starting to appear in front of the vocals, as opposed to just like at the same forwardness of the vocals. Listen to the positioning of the vocals prior and then with and without processing. All right.
I leave this realm when I write shit. Before that, I'm a skeleton that's lifeless. This life's but a dream. Late nights, I never sleep. I be.
It sounds like it's competing with the rim shot. Now,
I leave this realm when I write shit. Before that, I'm a skeleton that's lifeless. This life's but a dream. Late nights, I never sleep. I be trying to count this money, bitch, we.
now it sounds like there's some space between the rim shot. And now there's still some things we can go through and do to create even more separation to give things their own space, even in a 2-track. This is a 2-track beat, guys. Look, this is a 2-track beat. And that's one of the most important things when you're going through and working on a 2-track beat. That's another reason why I wanted to show you guys the song, is with this being a 2-track beat, I can't just go through and side chain the vocals to the music bus. What I have is what I have to work with. You know, I think the vocals, if I recorded the vocals, they would have sounded much more ready sooner. But again, as mixing engineers, we don't get to dictate what we receive. We can dictate whether we accept the project or not, but we don't dictate what we receive. All right. So these two tools, like I said, they're very different in my opinion. There might be some overlap, but how I like to use them is general correction, balancing from a tonal shaping perspective, and then this is very much a precision-based tool for me. Now, yeah, you could probably swap them around and do precision and then do broad, corrective, tonal shaping, but I feel this is how I was drawn naturally to them when I picked up these tools. So I hope that helps. I hope this was beneficial for you guys. If you want to go through and actually learn everything the plugins can do, I'm sure there's somebody else on YouTube that can show you, but I wanted to show you how I've been personally using them and how they've helped me out immensely, especially on records that I did not record. And I am held with the responsibility to mix and make them sound like everything else that I do. All right, so drop in the comments what you guys found helpful. Let me know if you guys have any thoughts, and I'll talk to y'all soon. Peace.